the Gojo family and Heian noble house culture. This is not an official explanation of the series. It is an unofficial culture and history analysis, based on the impression Gojo creates in the story. Gojo Satoru does not feel special only because he is powerful as an individual. He also feels as if a large house, a bloodline, and a long history stand behind him. That background makes his presence feel even farther from ordinary human scale. The first point is what noble house atmosphere actually means. When we hear the phrase noble house, we may think of family name, bloodline, or inherited status. Those are important, but culturally, noble house atmosphere is not only a title. It also includes distance. It includes inner rooms that cannot be entered casually. It includes memories passed down through generations. And it includes the feeling that one person is carrying something larger than the self. Gojo's image contains this kind of weight. He can seem free, casual, and almost playful, but behind that lightness, there is the feeling of a family, a role, and an inherited position. That contrast between lightness and weight is one reason his presence feels unusual. The second point is authority placed deeper inside. In older Japanese court culture, high-status figures were not always shown directly in front of everyone. They could be placed behind screens, beyond curtains, or inside deep residences. You might sense that someone important was there, but you could not see them clearly. That hiddenness was not weakness. It could make authority feel stronger. Because the person was not fully visible, imagination began to work. Because the person could not be approached casually, the space around them gained value. Gojo's noble house atmosphere has a similar depth. He appears directly in the story, but something behind him still feels hidden. The history of the house, the bloodline, the old role, and the expectations around him all rise behind his character as atmosphere. The third point is lineage and the individual. In noble house culture, a person is not completely alone. There are generations before them, and generations after them. A name can become a vessel for that long flow of time. In the world of Heian aristocrats, family name, bloodline, rank, marriage ties, and office could shape how a person was seen. The question was not only what the individual could do, it was also where that person stood in a wider network of houses and histories. Gojo's strength feels personal, but it also feels connected to something larger. He is an individual, but he can also feel like a symbol of the house itself. That makes his power feel less like a random gift and more like the visible surface of a long inheritance. The fourth point is the overlap with Heian court aesthetics. Heian culture often valued indirect presence. Not everything had to be shown directly. A scent, a letter, a voice, a glimpse through a curtain, or the feeling of someone behind a screen could create status and beauty. The unseen could become more powerful than the fully exposed. This connects with all the impressions we have explored in Season 1. Episode 1 looked at distance. Gojo feels close, but not fully reachable. Episode 2 looked at the blindfold and the 6 eyes. He hides his eyes, but seems to see more. Episode 3 looked at limitless and barriers. He can be right there, and still impossible to touch. Episode 4 adds the weight behind those impressions. Distance, hidden sight, and invisible boundaries do not float alone. Behind them, we can sense house, lineage, and old authority. That is why Gojo can feel modern and ancient at the same time. Of course, this is not a direct official explanation. It is a cultural reading of the impression he creates. But when we think about why Gojo feels so far from ordinary people, the motif of noble house culture fits surprisingly well. He is near, but distant. He is visible, but never fully revealed. He can be approached in conversation, but not truly entered. And behind him, there is the weight of house, lineage, and inherited authority. To summarize, Gojo's noble house atmosphere is not made only from family status. It is made from hidden authority. It is made from distance that cannot be crossed casually. It is made from lineage that extends beyond the individual. And it is made from a Heian-like sense that unseen presence can create rank. When these ideas overlap, Gojo becomes more than a strong modern character. He starts to feel like the symbol of an old house appearing inside the present. This closes Gojo Satoru Season 1. Episode 1 was about why he feels beyond human. Episode 2 was about the blindfold and the 6 eyes. Episode 3 was about limitless and barriers. Episode 4 was about the Gojo family and Heian noble house culture. Together, these episodes read Gojo not as an official explanation, but as a cultural and historical impression. Distance, hidden sight, invisible boundaries, inherited authority. Those 4 ideas form the first season of this unofficial analysis.